After that video went viral, I was asked a lot of questions when it came to recruiting, and so I started answering them. And that's actually how I started growing my TikTok following, was just answering a bunch of recruiting questions, which I was dumbfounded that people even had questions and wanted to know anything about recruiting. But the more recruiting content I did, the more viral I would go, and of course, eventually HR set up a meeting with me to talk about my content. Because while I worked at a social media company, surprisingly, they don't want you on social media talking about the company. So after getting reported multiple times to HR, I finally just quit. I didn't have another job lined up. I knew it wouldn't be that hard to find a job. I just needed to get out of there. And this was my first time being like a real job seeker. Not when a bunch of recruiters were just reaching out to me all the time, but me actively being a job seeker. Before I quit my job, I was working full time. I was a single mom and applying to jobs, updating my resume, reaching out to people in my network. It was so much work. And I just remember thinking, man, I wish I could pay someone to do this, because what I have is money, but what I don't have is time. And that is how the reverse recruiting service was born. I realized that I wanted to provide this service where I was doing all the things in the job search that I just did not have the time to do when I was a job seeker. At the time, I was just doing like one-time career strategy calls, and I realized people needed more than just one call. They needed accountability. They needed a partner to partner through them through the full job search process. And so I opened it up to 3 calls, but then I opened it up to 3 months. I was doing this all by myself while I was working full time, because I ended up getting a job at LinkedIn. And I actually really loved my job at LinkedIn, and I'd probably still be there if it wasn't for the fact that my business took off and I didn't need to be there anymore. And now we have been in business for almost a year, which is so crazy to me, because I hate this saying, but literally building the plane while flying. And there's no blueprint of how to do this business. We started with just me doing everything by myself. I was working full time at LinkedIn. I had 20 clients. I was adding jobs to a tracker every week. I was the one doing their resume. I was the one doing all the calls. Like, when I look back, I have no idea how I was pulling this off. Me, I'm like the laziest girl I know. Like, I can't believe I was working so hard. And finally, I got my first assistant, who is now our COO, Destiny. I hired Jaleesa part-time at first, and then hired her full-time. We have a full customer success team and a community manager. We have a bunch of clients that we've been able to help, hundreds of clients who've been in the reverse recruiting service, help them find better jobs, make more money, work remotely, and also be able to post and share with y'all all the information that I've learned in the past 10 years as a recruiter. All the information that feels really secretive and complex and complicated. It's not. And I am here to bust all the myths you hear out there and just make it as easy as possible for y'all. And I guess that is our episode of how I was able to make up my career. See y'all later. I know.